have here? I have Tigraine.
Hello.
I have JV. We have Fennec. Hello. We have the Asian and Pacific champion, Eamon. We have Kale Salad. And we have Brady. Welcome, guys. This is what the F is this logo? That might be a weird question, but this is a worldwide game. A lot of American players seem to ask that question. It seems to be a little bit of a meme in our community. What the F is a kilometer? So if you guys don't know what Geoguessr is a game using Google Street View. It basically throws you in a random location in Google Street View, and you have to work out where you are. And we assess our lives over doing that. So we're going to be playing, showing you guys the game, and yeah, we've got a few questions here we're going to be talking about it, so it should be a lot of fun. As we get going, let's start off with an easy question. We'll start off with Tigraine. When did you start playing Geoguessr?
I started playing about a year and a half ago. I was unemployed and had nothing else to do, so yeah, started playing Geoguessr. I got involved first on Eddie's stream. Unfortunately, Eddie can't make it because he's halfway from Adelaide still. Yeah, and now I'm here organising Geoguessr events.
Nice. JB, when did you start playing Geoguessr?
I started playing Geoguessr in high school geography. 2019, it's been playing for about 6 years now. Got introduced to it by my teacher, and I've been playing it ever since. And here I am sitting at this panel, and I thought I'd be here today. So, you know, what about yourself? When did you start playing it?
I started playing probably back in 2018. My high school geography teacher introduced the game to me. Shout out Mr. Pogson, one of the best teachers I've ever had. But I didn't start playing competitively until early 2023 when I saw a bunch of the viral shorts and stuff on YouTube that a guy named Rainbow put out. A bunch of you are probably familiar with that name. That was essentially how I got introduced into the competitive aspect. I'm an incredibly competitive person, and I got hooked immediately.
Are you self-editing?
Yeah, I started playing in I think I first saw a Geoguessr video back in 2019 maybe, and I kind of just watched his videos for about a year, and then I only started playing in maybe late 2020, early 2021, and I grinded a lot of Battle Royale, which is a new game that came out at that time, and I got pretty good at that. And then I think the Rainbow tourneys back in 2022 really got me hooked into the game a lot more, and I started grinding. And yeah, it's been life-changing, honestly.
And yourself, Cal?
Like most people, got in from watching Geoguessr back in probably 2020, I'd say, and haven't improved much since then, but it's been fun playing.
And yourself, Brandon?
Yeah, I started early 2023 from probably Rainbow, I think. And yeah, I just played a lot of Australia, a lot of New Zealand, and a bit of World. Yeah.
Nice. And then following up on that question, and we sort of have a little bit of a trick on from JD. Were you into geography?
We don't about that. We don't.
Missed the polls.
Not really. I got an Eddie stream from a Phasmophobia streamer. It was a complete coincidence I ended up playing this game.
And yourself, JB? Were you into geography before Geoguessr?
Massive. I was always into my, playing FIFA 14 and stuff, enjoying all my flags, and I could name all my countries and capitals here at a very young age. I just, it just kind of expanded from there, playing Geoguessr. It was just awesome playing with my friends at break time, and playing in class when I was meant to be studying for exams. So I suppose it's a geography class, so I felt I got to go with my teacher. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I was a huge geography nerd before I even got into Geoguessr. A massive trivia buff in general, so the game already appealed to me in terms of stuff that I was already really interested in.
Yeah, from a very young age, I always enjoyed maths and stuff, and I think I memorized every country in the world and the capitals and stuff at a really young age, and yeah, people were always impressed when they came to my house and I could just tell them the country they'd never heard of. So yeah, but that's why I just naturally got involved in the game after I saw the Geoguessr video. And yeah.
Are you proud of yourself?
I've always been interested in geography. It's sort of been a passion of mine, just learning in general, but in particular geography. And from a young age, I knew the capitals I probably couldn't name the capitals now, but I've always been interested in geography.
And Brady, what about yourself?
I had no geography experience at all. I did not care at all about geography. And I don't really either, still now, but I just enjoy Geoguessr.
So you guys might be watching on the screen. So what we're doing right now is we're currently playing a game, and it's just Australia only. So we're going to start with Australia, but we'll ease you guys into it, and then we're going to get into some serious matters a little bit later on once we get into the world. Tough round, this one.
No worries.
I was on this side.
That's enough.
Alright, I want to go back to you. Speaking of meta, what's your favourite meta?
My first one I ever learned was in Ghana. So the Ghana Google car has tape on one side of it. Something very nerdy to know is where the tape is on a car, obviously. And it's still my favourite one. Like, without that, I don't think I'd ever get Ghana right.
Now before, can I ask you, what do you mean by Google Car?
So, as you guys know, with Geoguessr, someone's got to take the photos of it, right? So, Google send around cars which have that's a massive camera on the top, take 360-degree views of everything. It's how you
We can see a car antenna here on the big screen right now. So this game, the biggest clue is usually the Google car. That's the nerdiest thing, knowing like what colour cars were, did coverage in certain regions of countries and what shapes of the cars were. And you can see a mirror maybe in Hawaii, for example, where you don't see the mirror in other countries. And little different things like that. Like Russia's a huge country. The whole country's been solved by the different antennas that we use to drive around, or the car colours. That's
toilet paper.
Yeah, toilet paper in the back of the car.
JV, what about yourself? What's your favourite meta?
I think that it was probably, there's this type of bird in southern Brazil. I'm one of the best players at Brazil, just at the country itself. And there's like a bird, and it sits on the power lines, and it's got these really funky nests. And pretty much you can just narrow down the region immediately. If you see one of these nests, it's really cool actually. It's definitely my favourite.
Taiwan pole paint will always hold a special place in my heart. So, electricity poles in Taiwan have black and yellow stripes on the bottom of them. If you've ever seen like that sort of hazmat tape that they use to cordon off sections, it's black and yellow stripe. It looks like that, but they've wrapped it around the bottom of an electricity pole. And I remember that was one of the first things I ever learned. And I remember using that in a round and saying to my brother, "Look, this is amazing! Like, this is located to a specific place." And he looked at me and he's like, "What on earth? You're an absolute nerd."
It's in fun facts. I've seen a lot of anime set in Taiwan, and they'll have the poles, and I'm like, that's the poles that they use.
Yeah.
Amy?
Well, if you think that's nerdy, then my one. So basically, Norway, it's a very long country, and it's just mountainous all throughout. It can be very hard to guess where you are. But one useful meta that I picked up and I've heard from other people are some scratches on the road surface. Now that comes from like the snowplow machines. So in the north it snows a bit more, so there tends to be a lot of scratches on the road higher up in Norway, whereas in South Norway there tends to not be any scratches on the road. And I actually use that in the APEC Cup against him.
Disclaimer, this matter can be unreliable. So don't listen to what he's saying. He might be feeding you misinformation.
This is 100% real. Trust me, guys.
And yourself?
I've played all over Australia, so a lot of my meta knowledge comes from Australian methods, like reaching guessing the country. And borrow the not safe for work ones.
Oh dear.
My favourite one would probably be the little antenna, which is only found on Flinders Island from the black car and the new coverage. It's again the Google car. Google car meta is very prominent. in the game.
And branding yourself?
Yeah, I'm probably known for knowing a certain medical copyright. So,
No, but I'm going to stop you there. What do you mean by copyright?
okay, so on every image, you'll see if you zoom in enough, it will display like the year that the image was taken. It's not entirely reliable, but it's a really nerdy way of getting really specific guesses.
Alright guys, I'll talk about mine. I love trees. So mine is a certain tree in the southern of France, and mainly in the state of Santa Catarina and Parana. And it's called the Parana pine, and it's this beautiful old tree. It sort of looks like a dinosaur tree. It's beautiful. That's matters I love with palm trees and different things like that. If you can see on the screen, we have a little QR code here, and we have a code. If you have Geoguessr on your phone, plug this code in, you can join our party, and you guys can play along too. We'll take a question.
I was going to ask, you guys are talking a lot about the Google Street Cards.
Yeah.
How do you know when the Google Street Card is going to come to your like house or something?
That's a good question. So Google will release updates of where they are covering. It might be like a 3 or 4 month duration, but they'll be like, we're driving, the US, we're driving California at the moment, we're driving the East Coast of Australia, different things like that. They also release new countries that they're driving and different things like that. You kind of couldn't predict when it's going to be, but there's a massive community set behind just new locations in the game. We've got a glitch, a white screen glitch, yeah. And there's a massive community behind every time a new location's released. The community's publishing that location, showing the country, talking about it, and then basically an hour after the coverage is dropped, the Geoguessr community are already going crazy. So right now you guys are looking at a world map. So this could be anywhere in the world. Let me work out where. Okay, so there's a few clues on this image that we can use. The biggest one is this little green sign here. So this little green sign on the right, found in the country of Hungary. So with that little meta that we see, we should be able to get the country right here.
Specifically, it's a kilometer marker, so it marks how far along the highway you are.
Yeah. And then you'll find different countries with different country kilometer markers, different country street signs, different colour street signs. And all these little matters you can learn. You can Europe suddenly, really different countries that all look different. That's good fun.
Yeah, what are some of the best places that people can go if they want to learn all of these lists of matters? What are good resources to, I'm going to turn the question on you, Vincent.
Well, in 2025, so the community itself have established a lot of different learning platforms. The first one is Plonket. Plonket's a website created by the community, and it is a website used to learn. You go on this website, Plonket, it has an entire world map, every country that has Street View. And you can click on those countries and it will tell you all the matters for the country, how to recognize the country, and then once you go further down, it'll tell you how to region guess that country, different things like phone codes, different polls, different trees, maybe even what Google cars drove that country. But then, in 2025, the community have gone one step further. And there's this new website called a learnable meta. And what a learnable meta is, it's like Plonket combined with the game. You'll play a round. You'll get the round right or wrong, and then after the round, it'll tell you the metas in that round. So you can then learn as you're playing. So there's so many ways to learn in 2025. It's great. Do you guys like using Plonket or learnable meta or anything like that these days? Or what did you guys use because a lot of us are older Geoguessr players? We didn't have Plonket and learnable meta, so what were we using to learn it?
I use Plonket still because I'm pretty new compared to everyone else. I don't think I'm actually going, how about second, guys?
They're
all pros, I just make mouths. The little meta is amazing, I've learned so much from that. But in comparison, I'm pretty new, so I still have to learn things.
So this is a good round for a good meta. So we have a phone number here. We have the phone number of 27. And I can tell that we're in the country of Brazil, using the trees and the Google car here. So the area code of 27 in Brazil will be in the state of Rio de Janeiro.
Espírito Santo.
Okay, it's in the south. I get 27 and 28 mixed up.
They're both yes.
So with that code, we know that we're in this part of Brazil. So like, learning phone numbers can help us so much with certain countries.
And you can even narrow it down further from there because Espírito Santo is, for the most part, a very mountainous state. So if you know you're in a very flat region, like that round was, then we have to be near the coast.
Jamie, how about yourself? I know you started playing a long time ago. What were some of the sites that you were using to learn when you started playing?
Actually, the main site I used was YouTube. So there's this guy called Geoguessr who I used to. It was like most recognizable electricity poles in Europe. And it was just like, oh, okay, I'm going to click on it. It seemed interesting because obviously I was just playing for fun, but I was like, oh, I actually want to beat my mates here, you know. Like, I need some bragging rights. Yeah, so just going on to that, and then it just expanded from there. And then I got into Discord and the community with like some of you guys. And then we all just learned together when the game was like, you know, taking hold and Rain Bolt was first making it get big. And yeah, but it was just YouTube and then obviously when Plonker came out, that was amazing for me from my learning. But yeah, YouTube, definitely.
And yourself, Matt?
Yeah, when I started getting into the game, Plonker was mostly put together. So that was a really valuable resource. It's a super comprehensive summary of stuff that's useful in every country. So that really helped me improve super quickly. Yeah, that was one of the biggest resources. And then another resource that once you start to, you know, do more of your own research is a thing called map making. So that's where you can create your own custom collections of locations and use that as like your own research and find your own metas. So people take great pride in the community in discovering their own metas and then publishing that information to the rest of the community. And there's this really cool sort of collective incentive to help everybody get better and collectively share new findings and new information. I think it's really quite special.
And yourself, Amy?
Yeah, so when I got into the game back then, there wasn't too many resources available, so I kind of, there was YouTube, so I learned a lot of stuff on YouTube, like Geoguessr, Geoguessr, geography challenges, Wolf Tracker, just to name a few. Yeah, shout out to those goats for the help back then. Nowadays, I feel like, yeah, I do a lot of practice and help, and I get a lot of practice using mapmaking app, as Venom said, just looking around and checking coverage, and also just like playing with friends as well, just sharing metas, playing with these guys, and yeah, it's nice.
And how about yourself?
Yeah, when I first started, there was not much in the way of information. It was still quite bare bones at the time. But yeah, using a place called GeoHints and a guy called Geoguessr who released videos back then helped me get a little bit better at the game, and then it becomes sort of your own thing. And then once Plonker came around, like the sky was the limit at that point.
And Brandon, can I put a little spin on this question?
Okay.
Because you have made a guide to actually help people learn. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I got near like 1 or 2 in New Zealand, like at the country New Zealand, and so I don't think I really like found any of the metas, but I collected everything lots of people have worked together with into just a big guide for New Zealand. It's like 50 pages long or something. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I've used Brandy's guide
I'm
before,
not a
and
great
it's helped me
speaker.
become a very good New Zealand player. And like guides, is the community have made all these guides. Everything that is available for Geoguessr has all been made by the community. There's like the Bible guide, and you'll find thousands of different guides in every single country in the world. And like you can become the best player in the world from all the information that's out there. It's not gate kept. It's all there available. There's just so much to learn. I've never played a game that has so much to learn, and you feel like you've only touched the surface. To Grant, I got a question about you. We mentioned map making. You're a bit of a map maker.
Yes, I do. I like making maps.
What maps have you got?
Well, funnily enough, the country we're just in at the moment, Bhutan, I've got a map about some artwork you get on Bhutan houses. Some people might know about that one. Probably not. Only if you're above 18. There's a longest road map, so we mapped the longest road in every country in the world. I did about half of that, so that was my first attempt at map making. It was a lot of fun. I don't do any of the big maps. Most of mine are very theme based. So I also have a lighthouse map, so it's got every lighthouse in the world that has official coverage is in that. And it's become a bit of a meme amongst the community because Tito, who everyone loves, Tito if you're watching, had this big rant about how he hated lighthouses one day while I was there. And so everyone made him 25k, and it's not a map, he's in 25k.
The 25k means the perfect score. You get 5 rounds. The maximum score is 5,000, so 25k is a perfect score in every single round. Yeah. JD, you were former #1 player in the world. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, I was the world #1 back in 2022. When I say world #1, there's like a ranking system known as ELO, and pretty much I was on top, and that was great. Obviously, I'm a bit below now because everyone's got a bit better, and I took a bit of a break. For example, when I was world #1, my ELO was 1542. But if I was that now, I probably wouldn't even make it into the top 200. So it's just crazy how everyone's improved over time. But you know, it was an amazing achievement just to say that I was the best in the world at a game. Sorry, the best player in the world at a game. And I also I'm very good at Brazil. I do hold a record in that too. And it's just it's great. It's awesome.
Nice, good enough. Kale, I got a question about you. So Kale, you started a competition called the APAC Cup. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I thought it'd be good to, with the APAC Cup, there's a lot of people who aren't 18, and you have to be 18 to play in the actual tournament, and there's obviously the challenges of actually getting to the place. It's a land tournament, so it's a long flight because it was in Japan this year. So I created something called the APAC Cup so that everyone in the community could play, and it's done a good job bringing together all the communities of the different APAC nations, sort of you get your Australian and New Zealand sort of stick to their own people, and then the Thai community would stick to themselves, and the Japan community. But to get all of them together has really brought us together as the region.
And this year was the first year that the APAC Cup was played, correct?
Yep, that was the first year that the APAC Cup was played. This bloke came, where did you come again? Top 4 was it?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was Sheena and Karania that won.
Oh yeah,
Sheena.
I got the straight fashion.
Rani was meant to join us today, but he had an unfortunate delay with the flight, so he unfortunately wasn't able to join us. But, this next question is for Eamon and Fenner, because you guys have actually been overseas playing Geoguessr. Fenner this year was representing Australia in the APAC, and Eamon has been over to the World Cup twice. Yep.
Yeah.
I want to ask about that experience, and did you guys turn the trip into a bit of a holiday, or did you just go over for the games?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so me and Philip went to Mount Fuji together 2 days after the event, and it was super cool. Yeah, we also just went around Tokyo a bit, and did some filming stuff for Geoguessr as well. Not sure when that video is getting released. It's been 5 months now, and they still haven't released it.
We're told that it's still in the works, but yeah, APAC was a crazy experience. Prior to the competition, I hadn't been overseas in 7 years, and I didn't foresee getting that opportunity again. And then all of a sudden, I'm playing in a World League of a game that I only picked up a few years ago, and I'm traveling overseas to compete representing Australia, and it's what is happening? But yeah, it was just a surreal experience to get to travel overseas, see, it was particularly exciting seeing all the stuff in Japan that I had only seen on Street View and going, wow, this also exists in real life. As silly as that sounds, it's very cool to see the things that, all the metas and all of the infrastructure that I spent so much time studying and learning, and then reach out and touch a pole and, take photos of the pole plates, and perhaps not your average photos that you take while on holiday, but they're certainly some of the favourite photos that I took back from the trip.
And there's a bit of a meme in the community that a lot of YouTubers or streamers will have like bollards in their bedrooms. And if you don't know what a bollard is, it's like a reflector on the side of the road. And that community's just called them bollards. So they've renamed them. And what about yourself? Did you get up to anything over in Europe?
So this September we went to Denmark for the Geoguessr World Cup finals, or World Championship finals. And after that I was like, hey, I'm in Europe, I don't want to go back home, I want to stay here for a bit. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Scotland. And yeah, one of my friends from Geoguessr, they're from Glasgow, so I met up with him. And yeah, we went up to the Scottish Highlands. It was really beautiful, and yeah, it was a cool experience.
Well, so Geoguessr has multiple ways to play, and everyone has their own little play style. The main game modes are moving. And moving means you move around until you basically find information, and usually if you're moving, you're trying to get a perfect score because you're finding that information to get a perfect score. The second game mode would be no moving, which is what we're doing right now. You get the full 360 degrees, and you can look around, but you can't move anywhere. So you have to rely on metas, vibes, and using what information you can get. And then the third game mode, which I'll show you guys right now, is probably the harder one. It's called NMPZ, which is no moving and equals moving. It's the one that Rainbow makes famous, and it's the one where you get one image, that's it, you've got to guess on that image. Let's start with Graham. What's your favourite game mode and why?
I like moving. I really struggle with my short-term memory, so memorising all these metas that these guys know is never going to happen for me. So moving is, you have as much time as you want, you can find what angle the street's on, but you can't expect it to pinpoint it if you're doing that, so find the exact straight corner you're on, or stretch your rows and all that, so I really enjoy moving.
Yep, JB, you say?
Obviously everyone knows how amazing Australian internet is, but I do not like moving, as before, especially like moving the screen. It's just not going there. So I'm too lazy to move the screen. So my favorite game mode is definitely NMPZ. It just feels a lot more authentic. Just get one image, try and figure out where it is. No zooming, like we're doing right now, because my screen is even low half the time. So it's just good to so my favorite game mode is NMPZ.
I think JB just nailed something on the head there. It's a bit of a meme in the community. The Australian players just don't play moving, and they blame it on our internet, but it's actually got to do with the Google server is in Singapore. So
No, it's skill.
There's only one or two actual serious moving players in the Australian community. And speaking of that, you would call yourself a moving player.
Yeah, so when I started playing Geoguessr, one of the first people that I watched play the game was a guy named Jake Lyons, one of the bigger Geoguessr YouTubers, and he is a real moving specialist. He has a huge knowledge of place names, subdivisions, all sorts of geographical information. And I saw him playing, and moving is kind of like a puzzle in a way. You have to move about and find different clues and then backtrack to put together exactly where you started. There's a big culture, particularly in some of the French leagues set up by the French Geoguessr community, where the priority is to 5K, or to get a perfect score. And so to narrow down to that level of detail, you really have to be quite exacting. You have to use angles in the road and shop fronts in buildings and POIs and all of that to narrow it down within a very small radius. And I really love that puzzle aspect. So the internet thing just kind of didn't matter to me. It was like, I'm going to play anyway, and I'm going to try and get as good as I can get, even if my internet is handicapping me. And it's worked out pretty well. So I'd say, don't be discouraged by the fact that we have worse ping in Australia. You can still absolutely make moving work, and it can be a blast.
Now, while we're on this topic, and I'll ask you, the different skill set that moving players have learned compared to NMPZ focused players, especially at the World Cup level. Can you talk us a little bit through that?
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff that you learn from moving in particular is things that are related to written information. So in moving, you have much more freedom to go and find stuff on the signs, and being able to use that is critical. A good example, for instance, is Indonesia. So on storefronts in Indonesia, the addresses have what is called very often a kabupaten. That roughly translates to regency. I guess the closest comparison is like our LGAs here in Australia, or like the shires. So those are reasonably small subdivisions, and there's about 400 of them in Indonesia. So if you memorize all 400, then any time you get an address in Indonesia, you can narrow down your location to a 30-50 kilometer radius, and that's very powerful. Now, not easy, that's a lot of memorization to do, but that's just one of the things. And then you can go so much further. You could learn how to read Thai and Hindi, and I think at least 5 different scripts, all sorts of stuff.
I think you're making it sound very hard, but it is a little bit easier than you make it sound.
It's a process as well. I didn't learn all of this in one go. I've been playing for 2.5 years now. It's just picking a new thing to learn and going, oh, this seems interesting. Why don't I learn how to read Hindi today? But I kid you not, you can learn how to read Hindi in about 2 afternoons.
Like I literally learned Russian, but whenever everyone asks why did you do it, I just say I did it to speak to people. But I keep quiet. I did it for Geoguessr, just to read like direction signs to get a better score.
Eamon, what's your favourite mode and why?
It's not moving because I don't have the attention span for that. So I do respect all the moving players like Finette for doing that, and also my memory is not very good. And one of the key characteristics of being a good moving player is knowing a lot of, just learning a lot of information, like kabupaten, like you said, or area codes and subdivisions. And while I did memorize a lot, I tend to forget them very quickly. So yeah, I'll call myself more of a no-move player. And so that's like a 360 panorama, so you can't move, but you can turn around. And yeah, the good thing about that is you can look at some more Google parameters. So if you can look at the color of the Google car, for example, and that can, so for example, Brazil is a very powerful country for these meters. So different parts of the country will have different car colors. So for example, maybe the state of Rondônia, which is in like western Brazil, it's only one type of car. I'm too busy talking. Yeah, there's only one type of car, and you can narrow it down like that. Yeah.
Now, Cal, how about yourself?
Sorry, one blank. What was the question?
So what's your favourite game mode and why?
Oh, yes. Favourite game mode would probably be NFZ. Moving, obviously, we've just talked about internet issue, and it's even more so for me, considering I live in rural Australia. The no move, I feel like everyone sort of knows all their metas and stuff, whereas it's just not me, really. I just like to look at the landscape and just sort of see what's going on in terms of that regard, and then make a guess from there.
And Brady, yourself?
Yeah, I'd say my favourite mode is probably no move. And I'd say I'm just not good at NFZ. I'm very good at just blundering completely something pretty easy. And moving, yeah, I just feel like it's too slow. I don't know, like I like having bigger distances between our guesses. And it lets me know sort of car meta and copyright and all of that can really help narrow down a lot. That's the sort of knowledge that I like to learn.
Yeah, nice. Well, we've got the game up on the screen, and it's just one image, not this round, but the following round. Could I get you guys to point out some matters and sort of talk the crowd through how you're working out this round, what you're looking at, and how you're getting the round itself? I'm sure you guys are watching going, how are they getting all these countries like spot on?
this one's an easy one.
I live in this country. Like,
So we can see that the cars are parked on the left. Usually that means we're driving on the left most of the time, not always. We can see a wooden pole, which we can also see palm trees. So you're going to rule out Victoria, South Australia. South Australia is Stogie poles, and then Victoria mainly have concrete poles. They're probably going to be in Queensland here.
yeah, some mountains in the background as well.
I mean,
Queensland played as well.
mountains to the west fits for like half of the Queensland coast.
It's not super green, so you rule out Cairns. And yeah, you just pick a city in between and hope for the best on this one.
Are we sure to rule it out?
Yeah,
I've gone for Cairns. Suppose I'll be wrong.
What's your only complaint, Fizzy?
It was Cairns.
You moved it away.
Must have been the dry season for nature. Alright, I've got this next round here. This will be a little bit tougher.
These poles here, these poles on the right of the road here, is sort of like where the insulator.
The three,
the crossbar.
the three straight crossbars at the top of the pole that should be specific to one country.
I believe it's Lithuania, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then this Greek sign on the
It can technically be Ukraine, but that and I would highly doubt it.
Might not be 100%.
And then we're looking at the Google car down the bottom here to sort of rule out countries that it can't be. You can see there's an antenna here. And you have like multiple generations of camera coverage, which is used over the years. This was the Gen 3 camera, which was used about 5 or 6 years ago. There's currently a Gen 4, and there's even a new one today, which is a small cam, which is a little bit lower to the ground. So you can use all like the camera generations to help narrow it down, knowing which countries were covered during which years and different things like that. And we're always getting new countries. So this year alone, we got Costa Rica, we got coverage in Cyprus, we got Namibia, we got Nepal. So just knowing that those countries are new, you can already rule them out because we're looking at old coverage. Here we're looking at the Generation 4, so this is newer coverage. But then you can use the architecture on the left here. That's very like American style architecture. In particular, it's East Coast coastal architecture with these white houses, like the underground areas as well. So it's going to be like Carolinas or in the south somewhere, maybe Alabama or something.
Even in things like the colored stripes on the road, like America, Canada, a lot of the Americans, including South America, have yellow stripe down the middle. It gets a bit more specific when you get to South America, but it's probably too much to go into. But yeah, the hardest thing is working out is it Canada or America between these two.
And even here, like this whole region of Southern America, right from like North Carolina down to Mississippi, there's a reputation of the community as being the Southern roulette, because it really can be any of those states. It feels like sometimes.
I'd like to do just the last round. A little bit harder.
Not me.
Not me.
I mean, I can tell the region, not the country.
It's a
What the
hemisphere.
heck is this?
We're all stumped on this one.
I mean, the only thing here that sticks out to me is the 2024 copyright.
It's Gen 3.
Gen
though.
3, so you can't trust the copyright at all.
Yeah, I was going to say the copyright's played right, which means it's actually going to be pretty
They
old.
have pine trees to the right,
The road quality suggests Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
like a Poland or a Ukraine or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
This might be an interesting shot. Was this possibly Uruguay? It's a bit weird.
If this is Uruguay, I will eat a hat.
I can see it. I can see it.
Well, now I have to stay in Uruguay
It's
just to
not-
see that.
There is a lot of
How
very
could it not?
cloudy coverage in Uruguay.
We're going to
so-
find out. There's
Oh, Good try.
I have another question for everyone. So from playing the game, not prior to playing the game, is there any countries from playing the game that you really want to visit? Start with you, guys.
I really, really want to go to Iceland and hire a car and just drive the whole way around it. It's so pretty, and like things like just the volcanic soil and things we don't get here, and so I do kind of just please better come with me.
I haven't got anything booked, but for my 18th birthday, which is 2 years ago now, there's this beautiful country called Laos in Southeast Asia, and they've all got, it's got like these unique roof racks, and the mountains in this country are absolutely beautiful. And I said to my parents, hey, like Jake, do you want to go for your birthday? And I was like, I'd like to go to Laos just to see these mountains, what I've seen in Geoguessr. So it's pretty cool. I've got some like travel, all my travel advice from Geoguessr. It's so cool, like seeing where like what's beautiful, like Norway's amazing, like parts of Kazakhstan, like there's very beautiful places in this world, and like it's just you gotta go there and explore if you've got some free time. It's kind of uni to be there, that's for sure.
And before you answer, Ben, I was just going to say this round here has some really good meta. So we can see the car here, and that's actually the back of the car. So if you notice the back of the car, you must be on the left side of the road, right? Most countries will drive on the right. So you can knock out like 80% of available countries just by looking at that car. We're going to be in Eswatini here.
There's the grass. Well, I got there on continent.
Fennec, what countries would you like to visit based on?
My answer kind of comes out, but like, I can name like half a dozen countries, probably 2 dozen that I've seen. I mean, Peru, I'd love to go back to Japan and see more of it. I'd love to go to Turkey, I'd love to go to Chile, Canada, the US, like there's so many countries that I'd love to visit. I think that's one of the things that hooked me on this the most. I was thinking about this a while ago. I don't think I would have been nearly as interested in the game if it had been set in some fictional planet that was just created by the developers. Even if it had such variety and whatnot. I think what's so special about it is the fact that these are places that you can visit in real life, and they exist.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. I've noticed like traveling after playing this game, I look at different things instead of like looking at the beautiful scenes. I'm excited over the trees and the different power poles that are used and the signs that the people are using.
Some random ball out of the side of the road.
Yeah, or even like little things like graffiti. Like you don't even realize that graffiti's regional because you have certain artists in different cities that have their own style. You can use those fonts to reach and guess.
That one had Argentinian grass.
Yeah, Argentinian grass there. We had a little comment before about the grass in Eswatini. It's famous that Eswatini has this golden grass. That's the Eswatini meta. Any countries?
Yeah, it's a grand kind of still answer. I was going to say Iceland as well.
Let's go together.
Wait, thanks. Yeah, like the volcanic soil was beautiful. But yeah, otherwise.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Norway. So I actually ended up going to Norway after the APEC event last year in 2024. So it was just an example of seeing somewhere on Geoguessr, and then because of Geoguessr, I could actually go there, which is really nice. So yeah, and also after playing the game, I tend to look out for all the metas that I see in the game. So for example, when I went to California, I took a bunch of photos with the Californian stripe poles. So in California, basically every pole has 3 yellow stripes on it, and that's found nowhere else in the country. So that's a really useful clue.
A warning, if you learn this, you ruin every single movie and every single TV show you ever watched. They're all set in California.
And yourself, Jack?
It's an interesting one actually. The US is somewhere I'd really love to visit. Just the Western US is just so beautiful and diverse, like the Rockies and the Cascades. Like it's so just like magical, even like the fact that you can get desert and snow in like the same place.
I'm saying everyone in the crowd, you guys don't get this, I'm thinking it's leave it in.
Wait.
bridge. Somewhere around the bridge.
At least 10 people around the city, sure.
It's a team.
It's like we might be
Yeah.
I'm not used to this laptop. I'm struggling on the trackpad.
Gotta get used to track.
Yeah, but it's not enough room. Yeah, better me use a trackpad, don't you?
Yeah. Not many people do.
Okay, let's go.
Sydney! We had a big tour. It's like nothing worse than missing your own country.
I'm embarrassed that everybody.
These are some famous mountains right here. They look like big tables.
So again, this around here might look like, just a random road, but this little thing right here is the car, and it is the back of the car. So again, it's telling us we're driving left, and with this blue car and antenna, it's usually only found in Europe and South Africa. So driving left, you can eliminate and work out we are in South Africa just from the car here. And then knowing the country, you can then try and region guess. So you're going to guess somewhere where it has the big hills, the big mountains. So it's probably going to be in the south, maybe on the west coast somewhere. Embarrassing if we're in like Argentina.
Definitely not with this
Not again.
Have we got any questions in the crowd?
I saw a video of somebody doing Geoguessr based on the dirt, and I was wondering how accurate you would say that is.
It is pretty accurate. So we wouldn't study different colors of dirt, but because you play so many rounds, colors. I was chatting to Grain last night. Certain countries have certain colors. So I can recognize Thailand dirt just because I'm used to seeing that color palette so many times. And just North and South Brazil have got different colors of dirt. Peru is a really good example. Peru's got 5 different colors of sand, and you can sort of region guess Peru based on the color of sand. So it is true. We use the dirt, we use the grass, the leaves. I mean, I know people that use pixels in the sky because the camera had one dead pixel. In Bolivia, for example, there's one dead pixel. And you can know you're in Bolivia and you find that dead pixel.
Speaking of weird camera glitches, you might notice that the sky here has kind of some weird blotchy rifts in it. Well, if you're in Europe and you've got a bunch of rifts in the sky, for whatever reason, that's really common in the coverage that they did in Montenegro and Albania. No idea why, but that's a meta, and it's really useful because it makes these countries super easy to distinguish from surrounding regions in the Balkans.
Just need to make sure you get the right one of the two, because that's really difficult.
Well, they're next to each other, so you won't lose any.
Just guess on the border if you're unsure.
Any more questions? Yes.
Incredibly personal question, but how would you tell the city you're in is Kyoto, for example?
So in Japan has a lot of meta. Japan's probably the country that has some of the most meta. And a good thing in Japan is Japan has different regions with different electricity companies, and they all have their own little plate that they put on the power poles. So if you find this plate on the power poles, you can then work out which regions you are. On top of that, you can use the phone codes, you can use the transformers on the poles, you can even use, they have arrows on the ground, or diamonds on the ground, and some of the corners will be cut off. And that you can use to distinguish, and then there's there'll be fences, and they'll have different color stickers, and you can use those. Japan's really fun, but it's one of those countries that has so much to learn, it's almost overwhelming. So this is a good round. It's another one of those metas we'll chat about, camera generation. So this is your old camera, it's your generation 2 camera, which they started using in 2008, 2009. And then you can sort of see we have a halo on the roof. And then with the stars like that, that's really common in Australia. This is right. Yep. Any more questions?
I was excited to hear your favorite ballad. I don't. Everyone's favorite ballad. I don't know.
Ooh,
what
that's
that
a
is.
good question. I'm going to go out and say something different. I'm going to go with the Nevada ballad because I recognize it really easily. Okay.
Probably France for me. It's very obvious. Yeah.
The other one's probably the Polish ballad, actually. I like the Polish one.
I quite like the Mongolian ballads. They look like bowling pins, like little tiny bowling pins all along the side of the road. They've even got like the red stripe. They look like a bowling pin. But yeah, useful meta for Mongolia.
I always quite like the ones found in Czechia and Slovakia. And yeah, it's like two stripes with like a black ribbon. I don't know why, I've just always liked it since the start.
My favourite's probably the Queensland ballad again, being an Australian player, the one where it's like black and yellow, down the bollard. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of the Australian bollards. And on my trip to Australia, last year I went skiing, you get some really unique bollards up on the mountains. So I think the rarest one that I could find was like a blue bollard with a black stripe on it. So there's actually lots of different variations of Australian bollards. And I've probably got over 20 photos of different bollards.
Next time you guys go for a drive on the highway, just have a look at the bollards. And you'll be like, oh wait, they're all different.
I've actually got a map of Australian bollards if anyone wants to learn. So just search up JB724 on Geoguessr.
So this round here, speaking of bollards, see this little bollard here, we've got a white bollard, it's got a little red reflector, it's on the right, where in Australia it'd be on the left, so we must be driving on the right, and then this one's got a little black cap. So that tells us we're either in Austria or Slovenia, one of the two. And then with this architecture, I probably think Slovenia.
Yeah. Another thing as well in terms of the bollard, it doesn't have a little nib on the top, and that's more common in Slovenia compared to Austria. In Austria, they tend to have the nib more often.
Looks like a little Lego piece.
Yeah, the Austrian ones look like a Lego piece, where the Slovenian ones are just flat.
Any more questions from the crowd? Yeah.
If you could divide Russia into just west, central, east, like what clue would you give for dividing it?
So the biggest one in Russia is the cars.
Yeah.
It's a little bit nerdy, but you find your white cars more found in the east, and then no cars more found in the west. East is quite learnable because the east is really just like highways and the cities, where in the west, especially around Moscow, every road's covered. So like east, you start there, white car, and then you work your way, you do the mountains, and then Russia's tough.
Another good way of reaching guess Russia, I've found, with someone that's done with these guys, but learn the countries underneath it. So if you look slightly Mongolian, but you see a Russia car, you're going to be close to Mongolia somewhere.
And what your engine means by Russia car is that's a really good point. So in East Russia, they get their cars from Japan, and Japan drive on the left. So the steering wheels in the east of Russia are on the left. Well, the steering wheels are on the right. They're on the right in the east, and then they're on the left in the west. So you can use the steering wheel to work out what side of the country you're on. And then if you find steering wheels on both sides, you're probably in the middle of Russia.
Then when you get really nerdy, learn where the railway lines are. That's I don't get them, but it's
Somebody just recently a document that has like different regional railway crossings in Russia. Like that's the level of detail and research that people will go out. And this is not stuff that's publicly available. People will go out and hunt through all of the coverage and then put together all of their findings in documents that are then publicly available for everybody to learn.
Yeah, so there's a pro in the community called Finba, and he released, I think, like a 100-page document on Russia, specifically talking about all the car types, like the antennas and the coverage and the seasons that the coverage was taken in. So it's a very detailed read, and I certainly learned a lot of stuff from that. So yeah, if you ever want to learn some Russia, then head up Finba.
Or if you don't want to learn Russian, there's a 200-page document on Mongolia.
You name it, a country's got research on it, which is so
I
fun.
think there's like a 70-page document on trash bins in Norway.
One of my good friends, Harriet, did a 150-page document on Wales. Not UK, Wales. So yeah.
Any more questions? Yeah.
How many, ballpark, how many hours would you guys spend?
Next question.
The good thing about Geoguessr is it doesn't like Steam. It doesn't tell you how many hours you've played. Most of us are max level, right? I'm max level. The devs said that they didn't expect players to ever get to max level, so they never planned on increasing them.
But yeah, definitely, I'd say thousands of hours for most
Yeah,
of us.
5 to 10,000. But in saying that, like I don't play the game as much as I use map making. So most of my time is spent making maps or learning coverage on the map maker. Oh yeah.
How could you use flags in Geoguessr?
How can you use flags?
How could you using flags in Geoguessr?
Yeah, so like the guys were saying before, I grew up with a 4-year-old kid and I had a flag book. So I was learning flags as a little kid. So when I first started playing the game, I knew the countries, the flags, the capitals, but all this other stuff I had no idea on. And yeah, I just really got obsessed with it then. But I think the good thing with flags, a lot of countries are very passionate about their state flags. So like Germany or Malaysia, for example, if you learn division flags in there, you'll be like, oh, that's a Sarawak flag, that's a Sabah flag, and then you're like, oh, I know I'm in Malaysia because I know this flag. So not so much country flags, I think subdivisions are really important to learn.
Not gonna lie, I probably know country bollards better than I know country flags. I think there's quite a few people in the community similar to that as well.
Right now, every country isn't in Geoguessr, so there's about 115 countries that have coverage. A lot of countries, use North Korea as an example, Google won't drive there. Yeah, but a couple more are going to be released by the end of the year. Paraguay, Costa Rica was just...
Salvador's coming
Yeah,
soon.
El Salvador's on the way, Georgia's on the way.
Not a state, by the way,
Bosnia.
but two countries.
Sorry?
Kuwait.
Kuwait, yeah, that's another one.
Bosnia as well.
Anything else?
Any more questions, guys? Well, thank you, everyone. Big thanks to Aftershock for supplying the laptops. Thanks to everyone who came on the panel. This was great. Thanks to you guys for coming along and listening to us. We appreciate
Thank you very much, everyone. Everyone enjoy the night and let the games commence. Let's go. And by the way, we're playing a tournament tomorrow. There's a Geoguessr PC tournament playing tomorrow, and all you guys can join in. And I don't know what time it is, but
8:30 tournament in the Coffee Theatre.
I'll see you all there. Thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you.